a really long time, humans have dreamed of building a long-term settlement on the moon. And finally, this dream is becoming a reality with NASA's Artemis mission. However, before this happens, we face several challenges. One of the primary challenges is food. Right now, astronauts rely mainly on dehydrated food, which is low in nutrients and it's very costly to transport. One helpful solution to this may be growing our own food in the regolith substrate that already covers the moon. However, this substrate is really powdery and lifeless, and at its current state cannot support plant growth of any kind. So we must modify it. One way we can do this is by designing an additive. And before we do that, we must learn about the components of soil in order to change it. So fertile earth soil is comprised of solid components, air, and water. And regolith is so dense and powdery that it is not able to hold water, and there's no space for air. To combat this, I added large organic materials like moss, and I also added clay because its small particle sizes really do a good job of retaining moisture and nutrients. So once I designed this additive, I tested it in 4 different crops in 2 conditions. So the crops were buckwheat, wheat, tomatoes, and peas, and I tested them in the modified regolith against a fertile earth soil control. At the end of the growing period, I measured the plant growth from these 2 conditions and compared it to each other. And I found that the crops grown in modified lunar regolith performed similarly to or better than those grown in fertile earth soil, which is super exciting. Not only that, but the crops grown in modified regolith flowered and fruited, which provides further evidence that crop growth is possible in lunar regolith. Additionally, I found that the lunar regolith substrate the lunar additive substrate that I made is ideal at a 20% concentration. It is lightweight and compactable, which makes it even more feasible for long term. And this is promising because it means that maybe we can grow food on the moon that will support astronauts in long-term settlements of the future. And the main takeaway is the importance of plant science research and soil science to the future of scientific development and exploration. I want to thank you so much for listening, and I want to guide you to the paper that I wrote here and these sources for even more information on this topic. Thank you again.